Today I'm going to give you an overview of Seesaw and the many ways that you can manage your classroom on Seesaw. So first of all, we're going to take a look in the menu section. So you have multiple different options here. You can add an item, you can go to the feed view, calendar view, your class blog if you have it set up. Unapproved items, you can get the class code if you need a student to sign in. You can manage your class and invite parents. So we're going to go kind of straight down the list here. So first is the add item option, and that's where you can access, you can add a photo, add a video, add drawing, you can add audio and drawing, you can add anything from your camera roll, so any app that saves to your camera roll, you're able to pull from the camera roll and put it onto Seesaw. Note shows up kind of like a piece of paper, and it's a word processing tool, a very simple one. They can also add audio and right down here, if you see here where the microphone is, so they can write a story and then read it. And then last we have the link button where you can add any link. So if you have a YouTube video or a website that you want your students to go to, that would be a great place to add that. So going back to the menu, we have our feed view. Now feed view is kind of like a list view, and you can scroll through and see the most recent things that were added to your class. So you can also access that up here in the corner where it looks like a little book. So if we go back, we have the calendar view, and I really like this because I have certain things due by Friday. So I like to be able to see what day they were able to turn that in. So let's go to last Friday. And you can see a thumbnail of everything that your students have turned in that day with their name underneath. And if you want to pull something up to look at it closer, you can just click on it and see what they did even closer. So you can scroll through, you can go to different calendar or different months going all the way back. So that's a really nice view. You can also access that where the little calendar icon is up here in the corner. Going back to the menu, if you have a class blog, you can access it here. My students have their class blog set up, and we have a certain URL that we can share with other classes. And we publish only the best of the best on here. So this is the way that we publish some of our very best work. And if we go back here, you can go to unapproved items. These are all the items that are waiting to be approved. So I need to take a look at these items and either approve them or deny them. Whenever I deny something, I will make sure to let the student know. They'll be able to see it on their screen, but they don't always notice it. So this is where I'm going to approve or deny it. You can also leave them a comment here, and they'll get the comment whether you approve it or deny it, so they can go back and change something and resubmit it. So if we go back up here to the menu, you can get the class code, you can show it, or you can get the poster to print out. I always print one out and put it on a clipboard in my classroom. Works out really well when I get new students, or if somebody deleted their app accidentally or signed out, they can sign back in easily. Manage class is going to be a whole new menu, and there's a ton of options here. So at the top we have class name, so mine's room 9 2015-16. Grade level, so you can choose what grade level you're at. Manage teachers is awesome. So you can see here I have myself at the top, then I also have our instructional coach as another teacher in my classroom. So he has access to everything that my students are doing. Last year I had a student teacher, and I was able to add him on here, and I just invite the teacher with their email address, and they accept, and then they go into Seesaw and they can see everything that you do. They can approve and deny items. It's great for special ed teachers, for speech teachers. They can just be added to your classroom, and they don't have to be a separate classroom in themselves. Student sign-in mode. I prefer to have mine on shared devices so that my students can easily log in with a QR code. If you have older students and you have one-to-one devices, they can log in with their email and password. It's a little bit more difficult. I have third graders, so I avoid that. Manage students. So here's where you can add your students down here at the bottom. Paste the list of student names. I actually have some what I call dummy students where I put things that I don't necessarily want going out to parents into my dummy student folders. So fluency, for example, I have a picture of their fluency passage for the week and I put it on there and the kids can copy and edit it and it doesn't go out to all the parents blank as it would if you added it to everyone. But I can get into that on another screencast. Student likes and comments, I always turn these off until I am able to explicitly teach how to comment on other students' work. I don't want students going on and saying, awesome job, super cool. I want them to be commenting on each other's work with really good feedback that will make their work even better. So down here, students can see each other's work. I always have that on, and then I teach them how to respond to each other. They all already know who's good at math and who's not so good at math. They know, and it's actually been really great to see their responses to each other in getting better, and their work is a lot better quality because they know that all of their friends are going to see their work. New items require approval is always on for sure. I never want to have kids post things without being able to have it approved by me first. And then enable item editing is really important if you're going to be putting on, like, say, a worksheet or a fluency passage that you want students to be able to copy and edit and add their voice to or add drawing to. You have to have this button on right here. Enabling parent access. I have that on. I definitely invite parents at the very beginning of the year. I let them know at our orientation that it will be coming. My students sign up in the first week or two of school, and then at open house, we have their invitations out on their desks. So parents can sign up right then. And this year I was able to get all of my students' parents signed up, even some grandparents signed up for it. So if you need more handouts, I sent them home in Friday folders. I sent them home at parent-teacher conferences. It took me until November, but I did it. So you can send them an email even in there. You can manage parents. So say there's an issue with a parent not using it appropriately, or maybe there was some sort of custody battle or whatever. You can go in and you can remove a parent if you need to. Pending parent approval, so that's you have to approve the parents saying, yep, this is a parent of one of my students. Parent likes, comments, and sharing. So this is up to you. I enable parent sharing because they only get their own students' work. So if I sent home a worksheet or a story that their kid wrote, they can take a picture of it and post it on social media anyways. So I allow for parents to share their work, their students' work. I enable parent likes, and I do enable parent comments, and it actually has turned out really well. A lot of my parents are starting to not just respond to their students' work, but extend their learning by asking them further questions or connecting it to something real life that they have done together as a family, which is awesome. It, just skyrockets the kids' learning and connections, and just that parent connection with school is amazing. All right, down here you can enable your class blog if you want to, or you can turn it off. I still haven't done a ton with my class blog yet. I have students can add items to the class blog turned off because I only want our blog to be the absolute best of the best. And so I'm going to be adding those things as we go along. And then here you can manage folders. You can add different folders. It's great because they're in different colors, especially for students who are non-readers. And that's just another way for the students to keep their journals organized, which is really nice. One benefit of, say, having a fluency folder is that my students can look in their fluency folder and see, how did I do this time? How did I do last time? They can scroll all the way down and see how they did at the very beginning of the school year. And it's just their fluency items that they have submitted. It's not everything else. So you're not having to weed through. And the show add to folder step, I have it student and teachers because it's just way too much work for me to add each and everything that is submitted into a folder. So I teach my students how to do that. And down here you can save to the camera roll if you'd like to, and then at the end of the year you can archive your class. So that is a whole lot of information, but that is all underneath the Manage Class button right here. And that's where you're going to do a lot of making sure that you are in control of your teaching and learning in your classroom on Seesaw, which is amazing. So, oh, there goes one of my students wants to add something. So that's an overview of the menu.